What's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Lauren and I am a flight attendant. This video is going to be focused on how to become a flight attendant and some tips and tricks on how to land a job with an airline. So if you want, stay tuned and let's get into the video. So the first thing I have for you guys on how to become a flight attendant is number one, do your research. This is super important in the process of becoming a flight attendant, is figuring out which airline you want to work for. My first tip is to write out every airline that you could think of or that you would want to work for and leave some space to write notes, about that airline. You can either write on a notebook, put in an Excel sheet, or anything that will help keep you organized and know what each airline is about. And I would even consider ranking those from your favorite to your least favorite. I think having that picture is going to help you just see the overall pros and cons of each airline that you are going to apply for. So with that, with your researching of your airlines, the first thing I would look for are the bases. So this would be flight attendant bases that the airline works out of. So basically, I'm based here in Indianapolis, so I just work out of this airport, which is really nice because I am from Indiana originally. I went to college here and all my family and friends are from here, which makes my life easier. It's really nice and I can't complain about it. It's an amazing airport. So definitely look at where the bases are. Second would be the pay. See what pay aligns with the lifestyle that you want. There's quite a difference in some airlines' pay. Their pay scale, sometimes it increases and sometimes you get raises each year. I would definitely recommend going to Glassdoor or that company's website. Sometimes it'll just be on there and you can see what the pay for each airline is. And that will differentiate with regionals, low-cost carriers, and mainline, which is American, Delta, and United. Also, when you are researching your airlines, make sure you look at what their training entails and if it is paid or unpaid. I think this is really important to know ahead of time so you can start saving if it is not paid. Luckily, my training was paid, which was super nice, but if I did research and it was unpaid, I would have to have saved a good chunk of change before training started to cover meals and other expenses, and I'm sure I would forget things here and there, so definitely save up if the training that you want to go to is unpaid. Second, where do you want to lay over? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to travel to? This is important because this is what the majority of your time is going to be, where it's going to be spent. So with regional airlines, also know the difference between regional and mainline, because most regional airlines stay within the United States. I work for a regional and we primarily just do the United States, a lot of East Coast flying. We do Nassau, Bahamas, Key West, which is really cool. We do Canada. I love Montreal. I haven't been anywhere else in Canada yet. And I don't know how long we're going to have Havana, Cuba there, but the difference between regional and mainline is regional. You're going to do those flights, within the United States, maybe a little international here and there, but the airlines like American, Delta, United, those are going to have your international layovers like Paris, London, Hawaii. You're going to do longer flights, whereas the regionals are just going to stay within the United States. And that was my next topic. It was regional and mainline. Like I said, I think it's important to weigh out those pros and cons as well, because I think it's really important. A regional airline, you're going to be working on smaller aircrafts. It could just be you, one single flight attendant, or you could work with two flight attendants, yourself and someone else. I did my research on my company and I found that I would really enjoy working with another flight attendant. I will never have to work alone on a plane. And then with mainline, you are going to work with multiple flight attendants on bigger aircrafts. So that's probably the main difference. And then obviously the pay, Mainline is a pretty greater pay scale than your regional airlines out there. My next tip is get your passport. If you don't have a passport, get it now. Mine took about 2 weeks to do. I would get it before you even start applying to jobs because you're going to have it whether you do work for a regional or obviously a Mainline. You're going to have that passport before you go to training, and then they will ask for it. So make sure you have your passport. My next thing is customer service. Airlines love when you work with customers and have customer service experience. This is basically all this job is, and you know, it is a lot of safety, but most of it is dealing with people on a day-to-day basis all day long. So it is really important to have customer service skills and know how to just interact with all different kinds of people and solve problems, and just be prepared for just about anything. Just along with that, college degree. Obviously having a college degree will help you in the hiring process. However, it is not required to have a college degree to be a flight attendant. You can also have a degree in something that has nothing to do with being a flight attendant. Mine is in criminal justice and got nothing to do with it. I know a lot of nurses, you know, that have nursing degrees and that come to be a flight attendant. It really doesn't matter what your degree is in, and it's totally okay if you also don't have a college degree. So my next thing is, I guess going back to researching your airlines, is to make sure that you can commute back and forth, or if you want to live where you get based out of. I know some airlines require you to relocate. So if I got a job with this airline and they put me, let's say, in a base in Philadelphia, they might require me to move to Philly, and that's where the whole crash pad thing comes in. Basically, you share a room or an apartment or whatever with other flight attendants and sometimes pilots, where it is on a month-to-month basis, and it's significantly cheaper than leasing or renting your own apartment. So that's if you need to relocate. There are airlines that allow you to commute. Mine allows me to commute, so we have bases everywhere, and if I wasn't based in Indianapolis, I would probably commute to wherever that was. You would obviously fly to work, which is a little different, and basically, yeah, you spend a lot of time in the air. So I personally suggest living where you are based out of as a reserve flight attendant, a new flight attendant. So basically, you're gonna be close to the airport, and you're not gonna have to, you know, fly back and forth and spend your days off flying around. So my next thing on my little list that I wrote would have to be your resume and your cover letter. It is very important that you have an updated resume and a cover letter for the airline that you want to apply for. It's important that your resume is just simple, easy to read. Usually a lot of people recommend one page instead of multiple pages on a resume. You know, sell yourself, put your customer service experience on there so that airlines know that you can deal with people and everything like that. So basically just keep it neat, keep it simple and easy to read. That's my suggestion on a resume. Don't go all crazy and colors and anything like that. Then my next tip would be outfits. When you are applying, start thinking of what you want to wear for your video interview or for your face-to-face interview. Airlines are very, very, very conservative, and it's important to have a couple outfits in mind before you start doing these interviews. And I would suggest having like a plain white button-up, navy button-up. They're okay with grays, anything like that. I wore a all gray dress with a black blazer and heels for everything that I applied to, and everything that I went through to become a flight attendant. Obviously get some pantyhose, get some socks, and just look very clean and professional and classy. They don't like a lot of patterns going on, or like bright pinks or bright blues. They like very neutral colors when you do these interviews. So just be thinking in the back of your head what you would want to wear. And you can find all of this stuff for very cheap. There's no need to go out and buy, you know, hundreds of dollars worth of clothes, and you'll be surprised at what you can find in your closet that could work for interviews and stuff like that. So basically, going back to interviews, so the airline industry is very particular in their hiring process. You know, with most jobs out there, you apply online and then you go in for an in-person interview and you get the job. Well, sometimes that's not how this works, being a flight attendant. So basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna go apply online to the airline that you want to apply for. I believe there are a decent amount of airlines that are hiring right now, so do it. So you're gonna apply online and you're gonna put your email in, and you're gonna obviously keep checking your email, keep checking back on that airline's website to see what your next step is. Your next step could either be a like assessment questionnaire. It could be right away to a video survey where you painfully video yourself and without talking to anyone, basically what I'm doing right now. And you're gonna submit that in. There's, you know, it could be questions from 5 to 10 questions that you're gonna answer and submit. From then you could either get a phone interview, you could get a virtual interview actually talking to someone on the other side like Skype, and then finally you can be flown out or drive to your face-to-face interview. And it's a long process. It really is, and you just got to be patient and you got to be hopeful that you are the best candidate for the job, and stay as positive as you can during this process, because sometimes it does seem impossible and like it's not going anywhere. And just keep at it and keep applying to honestly as many airlines as you see fit. I wouldn't necessarily say to apply to every airline out there, but apply to the airline that best fits you and that is going to work for you. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's just one, but I obviously don't want you guys to just start applying and then end up quitting because the airline just didn't work out for you. Because in my personal opinion, I think that you're gonna get hired on at the airline that is meant for you, and I stand by that to this day. So basically some other tips or things you should ask yourself, you know, if you really, really wanna do this, is do you like flying? Does it make you nervous? Does it make you sick? Do you like being in small spaces? Because this is an everyday thing, and you will spend hours upon hours in an airplane. So you have to make sure that you are comfortable doing this. And I will say, you know, I didn't really fly a lot before becoming a flight attendant. I don't know, maybe a couple times a year if I was lucky. And now I fly, I don't know. I don't even want to know how many times I fly. But you have to like flying, and you have to be able to work in super small spaces, usually with other people for an extended amount of time. So ask yourself, do you really like flying? My next thing is, are you punctual? Are you a person that is going to show up on time, never be late, always answer your phone calls, you know, respond to emails and to whatever that may be. It's extremely important to be punctual in this job, because you know, when you are on reserve, you're on a tightrope, and if you don't show up to your flight or you are late, it's not going to end well. Training is also very, very punctual, and they are watching you like hawks to make sure that you are fit for this job. It is no joke. So make sure you are a person that is always on time, because it will haunt you in the end if you are always late to things. Another thing is, are you flexible? Are you a person that goes with the flow? It doesn't really matter if things change, even if it's right away. It's, you know, quick, like, okay, well, we're going here instead of there, and it is what it is, because when you first start out as a flight attendant, you're going to be thrown around. You're going to be on reserve, and you're going to be on call at 3 in the morning, 5 in the morning, and have to get to the airport looking your best and being on time. So things can change so quickly. Usually on the last leg of go home day, things go south, maintenance issues, delays. You have to be able to go with the flow and know that you eventually will get home or get to where you're going. I guess my last tip would be, when you are applying online, make sure you proofread everything. Make sure everything is spelled right. Make sure all of your work history is up to date, and that I guess you have every work experience and those dates of when you were hired and when you quit, reasons for why you quit. Some airlines will ask you why there's a gap in your employment history, and I actually applied. This was I don't know, February, March. I applied to an airline and I put in the wrong date, so there was like an enormous gap between my employment history, and they didn't even accept it, and they declined me right away. Mistakes do happen, but make sure you double check the all of your work when applying, because they will ask multiple questions online. Okay, I have one last thing. I took my glasses off because they're bothering me, but tattoos and piercings are a huge thing in this industry. A lot of airlines don't allow you to have a certain amount of tattoos or piercings. So make sure you get on that website and look at what that airline's policy is. I know a lot of them are really strict about it. You can't have nose piercings, you can't have, you know, more than 2 or 3 ear piercings or cartilages, like tongue piercings or anything like that. Tattoos, unfortunately, you know, it is what it is. I have tattoos, and you have to be able to be in uniform without them showing, so you can't really have, you know, anything on your wrist or like on your collarbone or anything that's super visible. I have one on the inside of my ankle, and then I have one right here. Obviously the one right here doesn't matter, but I told them about the one on my ankle, and as long as you're upfront and honest with them, they will try to work something out with you. Obviously shoes, pantyhose, and my boots that I wear cover my tattoo, so it's not an issue. My main tip is be honest and tell them, because they will find out and they will kick you out of training or anywhere in the hiring process if they find out that you are lying. Be honest. I have tattoos, other flight attendants have tattoos, but be upfront and honest with them, where they are and, you know, how big. I know there are airlines out there that do allow cover-ups or wearing watches or whatever over the tattoos, but the airline that I do work for, they're very, very strict on the tattoo policy, and they will follow through with it. So just something to be thinking about when you start applying. So definitely keep that in the back of your mind. So thanks for watching this video. I hope that this gives you a peace of mind, and that you take these tips with you when you start applying to become a flight attendant. The number one tip in all of this is to be confident and be yourself, because if you're both of those, you're gonna land the job. You have to stay positive. You have to smile all the time to where your cheeks are killing you, and just sell yourself. Sell your customer service experience. Sell, your past work history, why you're the best fit, why you stand out amongst thousands of other people. Be confident in yourself, because you can do it. Anyone can do it. It's the best job in the world, and I hope that this gives you the confidence and the boost that you need to start applying to an airline. And once it's all said and done and you step on an airplane for the first time to work a flight, it's all going to be worth it. It all starts with confidence and believing in yourself. So I wish you guys all the best. And if you don't want to become a flight attendant and you're just curious, here it is. It's quite an interesting career to be a part of, but I wouldn't change it for the world. Aviation is growing and changing every single day, and I am so glad to be a flight attendant and get to do this job every day and every week. So that's it. Thank you for watching. If you have any other questions or comments, make sure you leave them down below, and like and share this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you hopefully on another vlog. Bye!